Hey and welcome, msKIRAspeaks. Before we get started, I ask that you watch the videos till the end, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. We are here for another episode of Power Book 2, Ghost, Season 2, Episode 8, Drug Related. We open the episode with a court scene. Jenny is giving her opening statement. Tariq St. Patrick is guilty. His attorneys will tell you a story of a family under siege by the district attorney's office, of a black man unfairly targeted for his race and his gender. She knows your playbook, Sack says. Sure you didn't give it to her? Davis responds. Such unfortunate circumstances do occur, but not in this case. The facts will show that Tariq, a privileged, educated young man with every socioeconomic advantage, murdered two people. Davis steps up and says he's going to give us the facts. His client is a straight A student in an honors program at an Ivy League school. He recently pursued custody of his younger sister. Does that sound like a murderer to you? And what I want to know is how Tariq has managed to maintain his straight A status with all that's going on. I mean, I know they always try to prop him up as smart, but okay. So Davis points out Tariq lost custody due to Miss Sullivan's hasty decision to arrest him for a double murder. The evidence is circumstantial. Jenny brings up the badge being found in Tariq's dorm room. Now, I thought Davis was going to try to get the search thrown out and hence the badge, but I guess he didn't. The murder weapon was Ramirez's own service weapon found by Reynolds' body. The prosecution believes that Tariq murdered Ramirez, stole his weapon, and committed the Reynolds murder with that weapon to throw us off the scent. And I always wonder why they thought it would be a good idea to leave the weapon near the body. I mean, I guess, but it's just a little too convenient. I guess for the story, we're gonna proceed. So Jenny continues and she tells the jury that they will hear his motive on tape in St. Patrick's own voice. Davis objects and they approach the bench. The defense had no knowledge of any tape as it was not in discovery. Jenny says they delayed notifying the defense about the tape because they believe that naming the witness will put them in danger. Davis says that they have the right to prepare a cross-examination, and the judge says that prosecution will turn over the tape and the witness will have to take the stand to authenticate. They will reconvene tomorrow. He tells Davis the recording is for his team's ears only, not your client. Braden and Effie, they meet with some carrot top looking dude named Sweaty. And Braden is busy making small talk because the guy is clearly a friend of Trace and Braden, and they've used his services in the past. So Effie, she wants to get right to business. Sweaty is busy overselling, and Braden, he's all in. So Effie reaches over and gets her a little sample and says, nope, their clientele has expensive tastes, and that had more steps than Brittany, okay? So Sweaty gets up to leave, and he tells Braden to tell Trace that the door is closed to him from now on. Braden is like, what the F? We need product. And he's worried that Tariq will be mad. And Effie's like, he would be more mad if we brought him some stuff that, was cut with rat poison. He asks if she has a better idea. As we see more orders coming in on course correct. Tariq is at court in the hallway when Elvin comes up on him. He's like, does my dad send you to keep an eye on me? And he tells him that a family has decided to adopt Yasmin. Tariq is like, what the F? I just won custody. And Elvin reminds him that you were also just arrested, so she went back into the system. And that is what his father wanted. In the event that there was no actual family was available, Yasmin should be adopted and her last name changed to protect whomever might have wiped out the family. James also instructed the adoption records be sealed so that once she's gone, she can't be found. He had all this set up before he died, Tariq asked. And before he walks away, Elvin tells him, if you really want to save your sister, I suggest you start by saving yourself. And I'm sitting here like, really? Adoption? I mean, Big Mama got a DUI. She's not dead. And okay, Power. So Davis comes in and asks if he has any idea who recorded him talking motive about these murders. Tariq says it doesn't make any sense. He hasn't talked to anyone about this case. I would not say that that's entirely true, but I'm gonna let him finish. So Davis says he's on it as soon as he pays him, and all I can hear is, cash rules everything around me. Graham, get the money. Tariq says he got it. He just needs a little more time. Davis is like, okay, so payday is tomorrow, or I will let a public defender trot your ass into 25 to life, okay? Monet comes into Diana's room and she asks where Drew and Poppy. And Diana's like, she doesn't know. They don't tell her, they don't tell her shit. And Monet's like, I know you and Drew is thick as thieves. And she tells her if they're shutting them both out, that ain't good, especially for Drew. So Monet's phone is going off. She ignores it and she tells Diana if she finds out something about her father's business and you tell me, maybe I can find a way to trust you again. Monet's phone is still going off. It's a message from D. We need to talk. Diana asks, who's that? The Audacity, ma'am? She'd get no answer from me. It's Zeke's agent, if you must know. And she leaves to take the call. And she goes in her room and closes the door. Dante is looking at a nice ring as he tells her they need to talk. Look, you gotta stop calling me, Dante. And of course, we know that Diana is in the hallway ear hustling. And I'm saying to myself, now why would you go to the room to take that call? And then you're not whispering and you using the man's name. Like, no, we don't do that. So Kane pops in on Mecca, who hurries to put the ring away. Yo, plane just touched down, shipment's ready. And Mecca gives him that finger to get your ass out of here. And he finishes his conversation. Jenny's in her office with Lauren and her parents. Finally, she's telling her she knows it's hard, but it'll all be over by tomorrow. She says she'll keep security on her for a little while longer, but Lauren's like, she can't do this. Her parents bring up because, this is because you got caught with drugs. Dad even says her brother wasn't even high enough to get caught for possession. Well, damn, I can see why she didn't want to come to y'all in the first place. But still, if she had, we probably could have avoided all of this. So Mom is like, Malcolm tried to warn him. Aren't we thrilled that she left him for a boy that killed that attractive professor? Lauren asks if there's any other way out, and Jenny says, no, not for you. Now, was I the only one that was wondering why the parents had no lawyer for their daughter? Let me know in the comments. So Diana goes nosing all around Monet's bedroom until she finds a Gucci shoebox in the closet with the Bible in it. She opens it and we see the stamp of Wilmington Regional Hospital. This is supposed to be down south. We're going to assume it's either Delaware or North Carolina. These are just my assumptions. People, if you know, you could also put that in the comments. She flips through the pages and finds a baby picture in the book of Ezekiel. And when she turns it over, it says Ezekiel Cross. She calls the hospital looking for a birth certificate of Ezekiel Cross 2002. What do you mean not in that year? We hear her asking. Tariq meets with Braden and Effie in his room for an update. Braden says the guy had a lot of coke, but Effie interjects, it was stepped on more than Braden's feelings when you don't text him back right away. So Tariq says, yo, it's a good thing that we passed. Braden says people are starting to get upset about the backlog, so they're trying to come up with ideas, and Tariq's like, I might have a plan, but they're going to need the Tejadas for it, and he's not sure that they're going to be up for it. Kane is bugging as he and Monet are discussing owing Davis that money, because that's going to save his ass. He wants to ask, Lorenzo for the money, but Monet basically says that's a terrible idea, like once he finds out all that he's into. So Tariq calls and Kane's like, man, F him. But Monet's like, but we need him. So we see Tariq roll into what looks like a coffee bar. He grabs the juice. He hands the cashier some extra cash, and then he goes into the back for a meeting. Kane and Monet are there, and we see Effie and Braden also join them. Kane is giving Effie a look that had me like, what's all that about? So Monet asked the plan, and Tariq's like, he wants to rob the plug for the drugs that they cut them off from. Kane is not trying to hear it because he says Mecca ain't the one. Tariq says they use the GTG to do it. Monet likes that idea. It keeps their hands clean. They take the fall. And Kane's like, y'all ain't getting into Mecca's crib. Security is tight AF. Tariq expects as much, and he's sending Braden in to do, to handle the situation. He puts Kane on Little Guap. Effie already knows what she needs to do. They all play their roles, play their positions, and everything will fall into place. Monet says they're in. Kane's like, we need product, but we also need money. He's like, I think we're going to need Drew. So we see Drew at home telling Kane, fuck no. Monet is also standing there too. And Kane's like, the plan ends with Guap 6 feet deep. And Drew's like, he's not falling for that again. So finally, Drew's like, all right, but I want to be the one to pull the trigger on Little Guap. Kane is like, what? He finally agrees. Monet tells him Lorenzo and Diana can't know anything about it. And Drew suggests that they let Tariq distract Diana. What about Lorenzo? Monet asks. Drew says he has eyes and ears all over. She's gonna have to keep him away from it. Kane says, plus she needs an alibi. She's not happy about it. Monet's like, you motherfuckers. But she's like, I got it. So Tariq texts Diana and asks her to come to court tomorrow. And of course, she'll be there. Tariq meets with Davis. He's confused how they got some incriminating recording of him. Well, they do, Davis says, and so now he does too. But he tells him it's illegal for him to play the tape. Tariq's like, well, what am I doing here then? He's like, if I hit that space bar, hitting with the wink, wink. He didn't really hit him with a wink, but he was like, if I hit this space bar, the firm's reputation is ruined. My license is gone. He's like, you got me effed up. So he's like, listen, I'll be back. I got to go check on dinner reservations. At first, Tariq ain't get it. He's like, why you can't, take care of this first? And Davis gives him one final look at the laptop. And when he leaves, Tariq's like, oh, he goes on over. He presses that space bar. And we all know what he heard. We was there. So when he goes storming out, Sax is on his heels because he heard him listening to the audio. He says he needs to make sure he's not going to do anything to St. Patrick with the information. And I just laugh because Sax is such a fool. Tariq asks, how could she do this to him? And Sax like, it wasn't her fault. She got caught with drugs. And Tariq's like, they weren't hers and blah, blah, blah. And as Sax tries to defend her, he brings up Carrie's name and then he stops. But oh no, you got to finish because Tariq wants to know. So he's like, Carrie manipulated Lauren to wear a wire. She was just trying to catch Jabari's killer. He tells him he can't go near Carrie or Lauren, but he's like, I have class in the morning with them. How am I gonna do that? So we see Sax and he is hitting it all wrong for the first time, and Jenny is looking frustrated, and then he kisses her and she's like, effing opposing counsel during trial is one thing, but kissing like we're together is a no. So Sax, he wants to be with her, and Jenny's like, his client is not going to be happy when he finds out who betrayed him in court. Sax like, yeah, his girlfriend. And he's like, I know. Jenny's like, whoa, because she ain't tell him that. He says he figured it out from listening to the tape. She asked if Tariq heard the tape, but he can't answer. Jenny wants to know if Lauren's in danger. He has no reason to believe so. So they go back and forth, and he's like, he can't answer the question directly, and she throws him out. She immediately calls Carrie, who is in class writing truth on the board. Is it morally justifiable to withhold the truth? You mean a lie, Tariq asks, and the students discuss as Carrie's phone is going crazy. She steps out the room to answer, and then Tariq gets up and leaves. Jenny tells Carrie she thinks Davis played the tape for Tariq. Milgram says Lauren isn't in class, and she hangs up. and she goes into the class to excuse herself, grabs her stuff, and she skirts on out of there. She knocks on Lauren's door, but it's open. She goes inside, and our guy Tariq is there. She asks what he's doing there, and Tariq's like, checking on Lauren's safety. He says she's not wrong to worry, but he's not the one she needs to worry about. Carrie asks who, and Tariq's like, you should have thought about that before you did this. He says you convinced her to wear a wire over a few pills. He's like, you knew the rules, and you can't tell me that you didn't, and that you didn't know you were putting Lauren in danger. So Carrie says there is nothing she can do to help. And Tariq tells her, take the stand instead. She's like, Jenny won't put her on the stand unless she has relevant evidence. Tariq's like, oh, you know how to lie, don't you? So Jenny says she'll prove that he had motive to kill Jabari. You really want to risk a conviction to save Lauren after what she did? Wow, Professor Milgram, just wow. So Tariq says she did it because you set her up to it. He says he always thought she tried to protect her students. Maybe he was wrong. And I mean, you know, he goes on because he got that St. Patrick gift to gab. And he tells her, you and I both know Lauren is innocent, so maybe you lie for the right reason this time. So Monet talks Coney Island with Lorenzo, and they're reminiscing about the summer of 2009. He will never forget that baby fat tracksuit. He says he's going to go warm up the whip. And Diana, who was, been listening, she comes in and asks for a minute to talk to Monet. And Monet is like, little girl, what do you want? Like, I'm about to go. So she's like, all right, whatever. And she's out. And she asks her where she's going. Off to Zeke's game, of course. So now Monet goes searching through Diana's room and finds some condoms in a pocketbook in the dresser drawer. She looks annoyed, but Lorenzo calls her because they gotta go. And I mean, at least she's being protected, right? So Carrie approaches Jenny at court in the hallway and asks about Lauren. Now she's concerned she'll never be safe once she takes the stand. She lies and says that she too can confirm that Tariq had prior knowledge of Professor Reynolds' novel. Well, girl, why didn't you say so? And they head in for the court. And now I'm just going to give them some leeway on this show and say that Milgram was already on their list of folks because, I mean, we just going to go with that. So Jenny starts by asking Carrie's profession. I was a prosecutor at the district attorney's office. But that's not what you do now, Carrie. But I'm going to let you finish. Jenny asks if she had an intimate relationship with Professor Reynolds. Carrie says yes, on and off. She testifies she knew about the novel and that Tariq was the source material. She encouraged Jabari not to pursue it, but Jabari had already met with Tariq a day or two ago, and blah, blah, blah. Because let's get to the good part. Davis comes up on cross. Miss Milgram, Jabari Reynolds wasn't the only person involved in this case that you were intimately involved with. Is that true? And Carrie's going to try to act like she doesn't understand. He's like, do you have a sexual history with the lead investigator of this case, Kevin Whitman? Jenny objects. Davis is like, it goes to her credibility, so the judge allows it. Carrie, she was trying to say, yeah, it was many years ago. Davis is like, yes or no, ma'am, yes or no. How about with me? Well, Davis, damn, I did not think that you were going to go there, but he went there. After some hesitation, she responds with a yes. They've already established her intimate time with the deceased. How about the second suspect in this case? Someone that also happens to be one of your students as well, Ezekiel Cross. We see Diana roll her eyes, and Carrie admits it's true. What's Stansfield's policy about professors and students fraternizing? It's strictly forbidden. And he asks why. She's like, because the power dynamic is lopsided. And you said you never harm one of your students for your own personal gain. He starts talking about personal gain up under Zeke, saying that's why they call him Freaky Zeke. And then he asks, he withdraws and he says, how many lies have you told to cover up your relationship with Zeke Cross or Jabari Reynolds or Kevin Whitman or with me? And Carrie says, but I'm not lying about Tariq. And Davis ends asking her, how long do you think you'll be employed at Stansfield after today? If I were you, I'd start working on my resume. Yes, Davis, cuz you are about to lose your job, Carrie. And honestly, after Zeke was no longer a suspect and Monet was like, we're done here, don't say nothing, we don't know you, you don't know us, I'd have left. I'd have been gone. I never got why she stuck around. And we're here now. Told you Carrie needs to mind her business. You see what happened to Jabari. Monet and Lorenzo are at Coney Island and they're walking and talking. And she's, she said she wasn't ready when he came home because it was too big of a change. But now she realizes that they have time together and he starts asking her what the plan is. And she plays it cool and says it's their plan. She says right now she's just trying to be in the moment with him. And Monet played it off quite well. So Kane is at Mecca's and he's prepping guns. And Kane asks him, like, are we about to go to war? And Mecca basically tells him, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So Chef comes in and Mecca blacks on him. Chef says he was trying to find the strap that he likes. So he goes in the closet and touches the keypad and the power goes out. Mecca, tells Chef to go check on it. And Chef is like, Kane, that's you. But Mecca's like, did I effing ask Kane? Child. All I wanted to know is where is all the animosity towards Chef coming from? Nene got you on your feelings like that? Did you just blacken on the chef? I was so confused. So Mecca gets a call that someone is hitting them in the hangar. And our Ocean's 11 heist has begun. GTG, they find the drugs, but Mecca's boys come in and only one of the GTG makes it out alive. Chef comes back and Mecca tells him someone's trying to rob him, let's roll. And he's looking at Kane, who's making a face, and he asks what's up. And Kane's like, first he didn't want to say nothing. He's like, the power outage feels like something he did at GTG once. So they head out and Kane leaves the door lock props. Somebody can get in, leave that lock sticking out so they could just slide right on in. So Little Guap is in the car. He putting something up his nose real quick. Effie gets in the van with Braden and Drew and Little Guap, and they're just waiting for Mecca to leave. Effie says, cutting the power was the easy part. Hard part's coming up now. So Guap gets a message about his guys not making it. He says, but the bag is secure and Lito will drop it off. Mecca leaves and everyone is ready to do their part. Braden goes to the front desk and tells the guy he's an E-athlete and threatens to sue for the hundreds of thousands he's losing while the power is out. So the guy goes to check on the ETA. Drew, Effie, and Little Guap, they slide on into the building. Effie cries to get the security guard and by telling her that her grandma slipped and fell, and then she barks at the lady and the lady followed her. I thought that was foolish as hell, but we're just gonna go with this as a show. So Little Guap, he is playing kiss up to Drew as they're walking up the steps because the power's out. So he says, the Tejadas are out there, he just kissing butt. Meanwhile, Effie gets the lady's keys and locks her in the room. So on the stairs, LG, he's still talking, just running his mouth. He gives Drew a grill and a little baby stack of cash. I got your back up there, bro. And Mecca, he's at the hangar. He's checking it all out. One of the guys tells him that they got away with the shipment. Chef says, looks like GTG. And here goes Mecca again with the attitude like, is that I forgot what he said, your something opinion, your professional opinion? He sends Chef back to the apartment to load up the straps. Kane says he'll go too, and Mecca's like, no, you stay here while I go hunting. So Guap, he's still running his yap. They still on these damn stairs, and now he's in front of Drew. Drew pulls out the strap and starts talking instead of shooting. So Guap knocks the gun out of his hand, and the two of them start scrapping. They just punching and all kinds of just rolling around on the floor, and Drew finally gets a drop on LG. LG's on the ground. Drew's on top of him, and Guap is like, you ain't got it in you. So Drew proceeds to choke him to death. And then we see him look up at the garbage chute, and I'm gonna pause there because I didn't put that in my notes. So he just killed him and then put him in the garbage, and nobody's gonna notice because I don't even remember seeing that on episode 9. But we're just gonna keep going. We'll get back to that. Leave me some notes on it in the comments. Diane is home cooking and she's calling everybody. She calls Drew, she gets no answer. She calls Kane, who actually sends her to voicemail, and he pretends to take the call like it's from Mecca so he can roll on out. Drew is inside, he sees the ring. He grabs that and the green bag when he hears a noise. It's Chef. He's there to get the straps like Mecca said, and now the keypad is working. So I thought that was a little suspect. Drew texts Kane, someone is in here, what the F? So he hides in the gun room, and Kane gets to Mecca's place, and he comes running up like, yo, Chef. Chef is like, why are you hollering? He tells him Mecca says they need to pack it up and help them find GTG. And Chef's like, I just talked to him, but somehow he goes along with it anyway. Whole while they're talking, Drew is Scooby-Dooing behind behind Chef, and he's out of there. He hops in the car and they're out. Effie sees the ring and she's in the back seat, she's got the bag, she's looking through the bag, she sees the ring because Drew's like, go, get out of here. So we see Tariq give Davis the ring as payment. I assume discretion is of the utmost importance. Davis asks, and Tariq's like, yeah. He tells him that he needs to have some himself because Jenny is about to be on his body after the day that they had in court. He says it was smart getting Carrie to take the stand. You try to protect your little girlfriend from me. Tariq's like, nah, I ain't have nothing to do with that. We are at the Tejada house for dinner and the main event, y'all. This was scene, I guess it was the third and final scene because the three big scenes in the episode, I'm going on track and this video is going to run long. I guess first would be the court scene, then the heist, and then this dinner scene was like top three. So Kane is talking about the food don't smell so good, and Poppy's praising her, and he says, he asked where everyone was. Diana asked where everyone was today, and Monet tells her, they went to Coney Island, and she asked Diana where she went, which she already knows, and Diana's like, I went to Zeke's game. And I think Lorenzo was asking if Drew went, and Zeke like, I ain't seen none of y'all up there. And Diana's like, oh, well, I wasn't in my regular seats. And Zeke's like, oh, all right, I'm going to talk to them. We'll take care of it. So Kane makes a joke about Tariq going to jail. And Diana's like, he's not going to jail. His professor lied on him, and everybody knows it. And Zeke's like, Carrie? Lorenzo's like, how do you know that? Monet's like, yeah, how do you know so much about Tariq's trial? Child, y'all poking at Diana, and you poke the bear, you find out what happens. Well, to be honest, I know a lot of things. And get ready, like I said, because Diana's about to throw some folks under the bus, and we are starting with Kane. First, I know Kane sugared the coke that effed up our supply, effed up the whole system just so he could be the connect. Lorenzo asked if it's true. And then Monet acts surprised because she already knew. Kane says Tariq's boy left the product out for anybody to get to it. And you used me to get in front of Ma, Drew asked. Oh, and he did. You conned your way into this? Lorenzo's asking Kane, and Kane's like, yup, sure did. Drew isn't the idea man, and he should be his right hand instead of Drew. And Lorenzo's like, you will not raise up on me. He's like, and you're going against the family. So then Kane, he throws Drew under the bus. He ain't clip old boy like he was supposed to, and Drew looks shocked and annoyed. So Everett is still with us? Lorenzo asked. Y'all's gonna kill Everett? My teammate? What the F for? You know what? I don't even want to know. I'm out of here. This is poor Zeke. And Monet convinces him to stay. And here comes Diana with her shit. She about to just spill the tea all over the table. Yeah, Zeke, she can't let you leave. You're her whole plan to get out of the life. Drew tries to kick her under the table and tell her to shut up, but no, Miss Honey just keeps going. Ma has been staging her exit for weeks from the game and from you, Poppy. What is she saying, Mo? Bitch, you got some nerve accusing me when you be sitting here lying to my face the whole time. She knows that she went to Tariq's trial and that she's effing him, and that's why she ran up there like a groupie. I knew you was gonna let him hit, Kane says. Lorenzo says, Tariq, we raised you better than that. Flag on the play, Lorenzo, because I don't know how much raising that you had going on when you was locked up for 10 years, but go off, bro. I ain't the only one fucking somebody I ain't supposed to, ma. Child, you thought that clip was empty? No. How about the fact that you're fucking some dude named Dante, baby? Monet lunged at her on over that table like she was A1 trying to get to Safari on Love and Hip Hop. Diana done grabbed Poppy's arm. Kane had to hold Monet back. She's just throwing napkins, whatever she can find. She's fucking lying, Monet says. Who, Lorenzo says? I'm sorry, let me clarify real quick. I mean, Zeke's dad. What the F is she talking about, Mo? This is Lorenzo. She's a little liar. Mo, that wasn't my dad. That wasn't my dad, right, Auntie? Oh, Zeke. Jesus Christ, Zeke. She ain't your fucking auntie. That's your mother. Mo, what the fuck is she talking about? And Diana slams that birth certificate on the table like she was playing dominoes. Child. Look at it, she tells Zeke. You little fucking bitch. That ain't my birthday. That's the wrong year. Diana says when she called the hospital, they didn't have any records from Ezekiel Cross born in 2002, but they for damn sure had one in 98. And I was grateful that they chose these 2 years so I didn't have to do my math because my oldest was born in 2002 and my oldest nephew was born in 98. Thanks, Power. So, wait, so I'm not your oldest son? Oh, poor Kane. Zeke, you're not 19, you're 23. That means I broke NCAA regulations. The league's gonna think I lied about my age. But I didn't lie. You did. You lied. He storms off. Monet tries to grab him and she's like, I'm gonna kill you. Child. But that does not stop Diana from continuing. You've been lying to us our whole lives. I hope you had a good enough reason. Lorenzo says, Zeke is your son? Yes. And the father? She doesn't answer. He says, I think you should go. And she does. Child, Lorenzo was way too calm for me. And I know this whole scene was entertaining. It was a whole hoop. But Diana, bitch, your days is numbered because, wow. Just wow. So Monet tries to call Zeke, but he does not answer. I think she was going to go to Dante's, but then she busts a U-turn. Mecca is busy taking out the rest of the GTG, and they tell him that the product's not there, and the crew starts to roll out. It's Mecca, Kane, and Chef. Mecca says, now all we have to do is take care of the inside man. Chef's like, inside man? So Chef and Kane are standing side by side, and Mecca slits Chef's throat and says, he was the mole in case it was unclear. Kane looks like he dodged a bullet. Mecca says, people surprise you every day. He tells him to get the gear and help him clean up. Kane walks away. And Mecca can't see him, but he's got a smirk on his face. But I get the feeling by the way Mecca's face looked that he knew better. And I don't really understand what Mecca's play was. Maybe it's just me. Y'all can let me know in the comments. And I didn't get it. Like I thought him and Chef was. And I didn't expect Chef to go out like that. But, you know, it's the Power Universe. So Carrie is home and she's having some wine. And she gets a text from Dean Wong asking her to come in a little early tomorrow. You know what that means, girl. And it looks like she also got a text from Zeke asking to see her. But she doesn't get to respond to it because someone is banging on the door. It's Monet looking for Zeke. And again, Carrie, peephole, peephole. Check the peephole because I wouldn't have let her in. Carrie says she hasn't talked to Zeke much lately. Monet says she can't find him anywhere. I lost my family. And Carrie's like, oh, really? How? I got caught in a lie. A lifetime's worth, actually. Carrie says she can relate. She lost everything that mattered to her today. Her job, her career, her integrity. And Monet's like, oh, because she was effing with Zeke. And Monet says to Carrie, if Zeke still has her to come to, he'll never come back to her. And I'm like, oh, that don't sound so good. And we cut away from that scene. We see Braden and he's in the room sounding like Soulja Boy. He's like, Drew got in and then I peeled out like Bray Earnhardt. I had to lose a couple of tails. Shit was fucking epic. And Effie's like, calm down. No one was following us and you did the speed limit. Braden's like, whatever. So Effie asked him to give them a minute. He's like, oh, all right. He's like, then when he leaves, he's like, this time light a candle. Ew, what's that supposed to mean? Gross. What was y'all smelling like up in here that y'all had to light a candle? But anyway, Effie asks Tariq what's wrong. He tells her he didn't, not to tell Braden that Lauren caught him on the wire. And what I want to know is why he is still so comfortable with telling her all of this information. Vanessa Huxtable's a rat. Tariq's like, nah, it's like that. It's not like that. and he was able to stop the tape from coming out. And Effie calls Lauren a bad influence on him because when he's with her, he has to be a version of himself that he's not. They talk some more, blah, 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 and they end up kissing. He says that he thought that she wasn't trying to get attached. And she says, it might be too late. So Zeke goes to see Carrie. The door is cracked. He walks in and trigger warning, trigger warning. We see just feet just dangling. And that is where the episode ends. This was entirely too long, and I don't know how much of it I can actually edit. So what were your thoughts on the episode? Please drop them below in the comments. Since we ended on a Zeke scene, I will say I feel so bad for him. I know people are always trying to say that he's slow, but I just feel like he's naive. And man, oh man, a lot got dropped on him this episode. Like, wow. I feel for Kane too. Y'all can get on me for that, but I swear he just needs a hug. And I'm still side-eyeing our girl Effie. If you have made it this far, put a tea kettle emoji for Diana spilling all the tea this episode. Episode 9 aired at midnight. I'm hoping to still get this up by Sunday night, but if it's Monday, it aired midnight going into Sunday. I watched it, but I still have to go back and do my notes, and I hope that you will come back and join me for my review. Keep your notifications on so you know when I post. While you're here, please check out some of my other content. Thank you. And before you go, like, subscribe, and share. I appreciate you. Peace.